Salute. Oh man, M. Bravo, man. You set up a notification, bro. I can. Damn. You're right. You're the first, man. I mean, the first subscriber. Grand Rising, y'all. Salute. I just woke up and my coffee is brewing right now. But, we've been having such an amazing time, guys. We just want to make sure that we make good use of our time. We want to make sure we're productive, man. In anything we do, we don't want to keep on just wasting time and killing time. And there's no such thing as killing time, man. You can find something productive that you can do. You're reading a book, learning about something new, and spending time with your family, right? Things like that. Because here on TikTok, we salute Grand Rising. She Matters is in the house. Grand Rising sister, Grand Rising. So yesterday live was amazing, man. And every time I see She Matters or Dr. Namasanto, I think about the table. Guys, we have a new version of the table, which the sister said I can edit easily. It's right here. If you did not know, the ask is Grand Rising Sigma. So if you did not know, guys, you may see this on the screen and run away. But before you run away, wait. Just listen for 5 minutes. I'm telling you. What you have on the screen is what we call the ASCII table. On your keyboard, and whether it is on your PC, right? Or on your keypad, on your phone. Any character that you have on your phone or computer, right? We can take this sign, the dollar sign. We love this sign, right? There should be another dollar sign somewhere, or Turupon or Warren, right there, right? So this dollar sign here on your computer is a bunch of 0 and 1. In this case, 0010 0011. That's the dollar sign on your computer. We came to realize that it corresponds to what we call in IFA the Odu. And Odu is composed of 8 positions or 8 bits. The double stroke you see here is the 0. The single stroke is a 1. For example, double, 1, double. Double is 0, single is 1. So we have 0, 0, 1, 0 right there. We have 0, 0, 1, 1 right there. So we came to realize that the so-called ASCII table is nothing other than the IFA Odu. So our ancestors have been manipulating the Odu, right? 256 Odu to corresponding to 256 chapter. Behind every single chapter there is a verse, and we read the verse associated with Oturupon Owari, and it talks about money. Financial or money is included into, talks about, is inclusive, right? This verse is inclusive of financial. Is it by coincidence that they chose the dollar sign to represent this specific ASCII code, which is this IFA Odu? That was major, right? And on Friday, during my Twitter session, we had a BABALAWO confirming that we were right on point with Oturupon Owari. We have a BABALAWO who said that this Odu includes money, financial, and that we were right on point. So what we call computer science is a form of African spirituality that was taken and transformed into what we call today computer science. The multiple videos we have been dropping are clearly showing the evidences. You can go check it out, the video we've been dropping. And Mr. Ron Eklash, this I can say honest whitey man, right? Maybe one out of he was honest. He got initiated into the Bamana divination system, and he made the conclusion that there is no single electronic in the world that did not start in Africa. And I know this is very difficult to digest. This is very difficult to understand, even for Black African people. They don't get it. Maybe I'm moving too fast. Maybe we're going too fast, guys, because I have a lot of Black folks who are lost. They're like, what are you talking about? What? So you need to be patient. Go watch the videos and come back with the question. It's deep, man. We are landing on some major, super major things over here, right? We are penetrating the mind of the ancestor. We are penetrating the mind of the ancestor, right? And it is so beautiful, the concept, the train of thought, and that they have put into into place here for us today, right? To look into it and be able to relate, to use, to grow, and to elevate our level of consciousness, right? So what we do here on this platform, it's all about elevating our level of consciousness in order to make better version of us. We want to be a better version of what we are today, and we want to do that through learning about our ancestral knowledge, right? So I'm gonna go get my coffee, and this is what I spoke yesterday morning, and then we're gonna do a recap on that. Ibase Odumejis. So if you know any Yoruba person who has doubt about Ifa, I think he should be here. If you know any person who is interested into Ifa, right, we should share the live with them, because we've been breaking down Ifa like never before over here. It's coffee time, guys. My bad. Mojuba Lorisha. Right. This part here, man. This part is deep. Alright, I will upload the video from yesterday on the YouTube, but in the process of BABALAWO, because over here we listen to what BABALAWO says, and we translate what BABALAWO says in things like this that you have on the screen, right? These are called input IPO, input processing, output, right? And this is part of the what we call IDAFA, right? The IDAFA, the process of BABALAWO, of performing, right, specific action and task. And during the process of IDAFA by BABALAWO, there is a very important step that BABALAWO does. And BABALAWO has a specific way to print the test result. What we mean by test result is whether it's going to be a single stroke or a double stroke, right? So I'm testing this here, right? Is it one knot left in the left hand? Print double stroke. Is it two knot? Print one stroke. And sometimes people get confused here, because I've seen too many people saying that the double stroke is the one, the single stroke, right, is a zero, right? They're saying that the double stroke is one, because when you have one knot left in the left hand, you print double stroke. When you have two knots left in the left hand, you print single stroke. You see? Now, there's a difference between this and the conversion of zero into double stroke, right? So this is something that can easily confuse, right? There's a difference between converting from here to here, right? The double stroke is a zero, the single stroke is a one, in this, right, in this way, yeah, in this table, from this table to that table. Now we started here. See, you look a little messy over here, right? And then it's got cleaned up a little bit better here, right? And then so what we've noticed is BABALAWO is giving us information on a specific pattern. You see, BABALAWO, thank you, Endurance. BABALAWO prints the solution to the first test here. The second one comes here. The third one is here. The fourth one is here. 5, 6, 7, and 8. We notice that it is forming a sort of sinusoid. You see that? A wave signal, a waveform. It has the form of what we call a sine wave. It has a peak, it has an amplitude, it has a wavelength, it has a period. Just like any sort of wave signal we all know about. For example, this is a standard, right, alternating signal. It goes up and down, plus and minus, right? You can say this is the positive side, this is the negative side, or vice versa, right? For example, in AC current, there is no positive, no negative in terms of the signal, right? But we do have line, neutral, and ground in the outlet. But when we look into a sine waveform device like an oscilloscope, right, it goes up and down, it's alternating. So we notice that BABALAWO is printing the way and the pattern BABALAWO is printing here resemble a sine wave. So that means that there is a vibrating source. There is a vibrating source that needs to be identified, right? Because the Odu, which are the peak of this sine wave, right? There's one, there is a single stroke or double stroke over here, single or double here, single or double. So we see that the Odu numbers, the digits, the binary number that form the Odu are either, right, on the low or on the high side of the peak, right? The summit of these summit, right? These summits here. Now, they do have a wavelength or a period, right? When you talk about a sine wave, there's a vibrating source. So, according to Babalawo, Ifa, Eshu, or Urmila have been summoned to the session. So there is a vibrating source that is guiding basically the obtention of these numbers right here that would be printed here, right? An example of number being printed is Ose Meji, right? Right there, Ose, right there, right? That's number one solution. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, for example, right? So Babalawo is writing down and printing a sort of a wave signal. That wave signal is the continuation of the vibration coming from the source. And Babalawo is writing that down. So whoever designed this to be this way knew that there is a specific pattern that must be respected. And in the process of respecting that, we should be able to see the source or the continuation or the look or the quality or the type of the signal coming from the source, right? This is the vibrating source. Now, in order to break down better what we call the vibrating source, I remember a few months ago we spoke about how the brain permeates the whole universe. Right? So I wanted to take a look back at those slides where we were able to see, with the help of scientific data, how the brain permeates the whole universe, right? So let's look into it. So I'm going to go to some previous slides, and I'm going to extract that section and see if I can bring it right into the IFA session slides, because I think there is a connection there, right? There is a connection. Let me see here. We study what you see there on the screen when we were studying melanin, and we coming back to it. So let me look. It should be somewhere here. The brain. Okay. So I should have that somewhere. There you go. Now, where should I start? Yeah, we can start here, right? And these are sources from, as you can see, peer-reviewed website, because we want to have, reliable information, right? So, this, as you can see, this is PMC ID, right? PMC. This is a well-known website to be reliable in terms of information. Fusion of electrical and quantum fields inside the brain. Fusion of Bohmian and quantum mechanics and their algorithm, right? Because remember, true science is the study of the universe. True science is the study of the environment. It's the study of nature. True science cannot be practiced without the study of or the knowing of African spirituality. Because African spirituality is the understanding and the communication with nature spirits or nature forces. Our connection to nature, natural occurring phenomena, and to nature spirit, which are invisible, but they can manifest and have effects, right? Have an impact in our physical realm. For example, the air, I always take this as very simple, straightforward example. The air that we all breathe is invisible, but it's very necessary for our survival. Do you see the air? No. Are we going to say that because we don't see it, we are not going to acknowledge the existence of the air because we can see it? Are we going to say that because we don't see the electromagnetic radiation of the earth that, it's not there because we don't see it, right? And many other forces around us. So the ancestor codified those nature spirit or naturally occurring phenomena in the format of what we call, you can call it, some people have a problem when I call them the orishas. So some people think that, okay, the orishas were people who actually live and they still manifest into our realm, right? But I say that anything in this universe is a nature spirit. Whether you take a tree, a plant, someone, an ancestor, right? Someone who has gone and passed, who has passed, but is still, right? Has not been extinct, because the death in our spirituality is the beginning of a new cycle, right? So they still manifest. So they are part of nature. They are part of the cosmos, right? So our ancestor understood those forces. When you say lightning, are you going to say that when we give the name Shango, or we associate Shango to lightning, right? Lightning is a natural occurring forces, a natural occurring phenomena, right? So I place the Orishas as nature spirit, and I explain why, right? When I say nature spirit, it's because they are part of the cosmos. They are part of nature, right? They can be summoned, right? Just like you have the air around you, you have light, you have darkness, you have lightning strike, you have rain, you have the wind, right? They are part of nature spirit, right? Now, quantum physics is trying to catch up with African spirituality, but in the artificial way. So when you speak about artificial intelligence, Elon Musk said it in one of his videos, and I think we need to go do a live on that. We need to put that video and play it, right? So people hear it. Whether or not he was joking, Elon Musk said, in AI, they summon the demons. That's what he said, in AI. Because AI is an artificial intelligence. They are hacking into nature, right? It's not real. It's not part of nature, right? So science in the Western paradigm is mixing artificial science and the true raw, right? The standard true raw science. Because you cannot do science without being spiritual. Because science wants you to be spiritual, because science is the study of nature, and spirituality is our connection, right, to nature. The more spiritual we are, the more scientific we should be. So someone being spiritual is someone who, right, who knows, who's studying science. The more you study the environment around you, the more and the better you connect, right, to the source, to the origin. In order to know who is really the creator, we have to study the fruit of the creation of the creator, right? We have to study the things around us in order to know and understand better and to connect better with the source. We have to learn the environment around us. Now, the reason why I'm coming back to this series of slide over here is because it was major into explaining how the brain works, how our brain permeates the whole cosmos, the whole universe, right? That's the title that I have in this slide. Brain waves permeating the whole universe, the same way BABALAWO and the patient during the IFA session are permeating the whole universe. The patient sitting in front of BABALAWO, every human being has what we call the human aura, right? The human aura, right there. Every single human being has what we call the human aura. Man, it's just like, you know what? I'm going to start having a session with my subscriber because I think my subscriber deserve some of the things that I am experiencing, and I think it's about time I start sharing those with you. Simple stuff just to feel your own body, to feel your own self. Simple techniques, right? Using water, warm, hot water, right? But I'm not saying that you have to burn yourself with hot water. No, there is a way you put hot water into something like that, right? You see this? Let me show you. Let me give you a sneak peek, right? I'm just gonna show you an example, right? So, you see, you put water to about half, right? Half of this, right? The water has to be boiling, but please be careful, right? Be careful. And then you will make sure you have no hat, no scarf, nothing like that, right? And you will have to make this, right, inclination of this to about, I would say, 30-degree. Bring it to your mouth, but do not let the water touch your lips because the water is very hot, right? So you will bring your lips to about here, and you will incline this to 30-degree, and then you will just blow into it, right? You see the sound? Now, once you blow into it, there is hot water that is going to water, right? Steam, right? There is hot steam that will be coming out of this, but make sure the hot steam hit your forehead. Make sure the hot steam, right? Once you blow from here, right? Make sure the hot steam that comes on this side, right, hits your forehead, right? And you blow about 5 or 6 or 8 times, slowly, right? And then you're going to tell me what you're feeling in that area. You're going to awaken something in this area is going to wake up, and you're going to feel it. Kind of like a flower that opens up, right? During when the sun is rising, or a flower or a tree looking for the direction of the sun. So this is basically to show, this is a very simple example, just to show that, right? Certain region of your body can be triggered, right? You will have a sense of good feeling, right, in that area. And trust me, all throughout the day, you're going to be awake like never before and be active. Simple stuff like that, right? You put hot water, you blow it, and let it hit your forehead, right? The forehead. You're going to have some sensation. You're going to feel sensation in that area of the forehead. Someone said just now, Damn, you guys are too quick, man. Come on, man. Right? So, and if you do it well, maybe I'm not explaining well, but if you do it well, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. You're going to, right? You're going to have a sensation, a feeling in that area, right? Because in that area, we're supposed to have a bone, right? Or a nerve that points to the universe, right? You are awakening that. So this also gives you a clue on why we should be under the sun. When I get under the sun, you know what I do? I make sure my forehead, right, is pointing towards the center of the sun. When you see the sun in the zenith, you know how to place your head. When you see the sun, right, at 12 o'clock or at 10 o'clock, right, depending on where you are in the equator, at 12 o'clock, you have the sun above your head, right? And over here, the sun is going to be above your head at about, I think, 10 or 11, right? Or 2 p.m. depending on where you are, right? So now going back to here, and I have many more of these techniques, right? That is going to truly help you, trigger some stuff in your body to make you maybe more aware of your true self, right? So we got other stuff with the crystals, right? It's coming up, man, with the crystal part, with the feather, right? The feather, placing the feather at specific angle of your body, right, is going to really pull something. You're going to feel like something is getting pulled. You are not making contact with your forehead, but you're just pointing that towards your forehead. You remember this action of the Ankh in Kemet? The action of pointing the Ankh towards the forehead like this. But I don't use the Ankh because you have to be careful with the Ankh, right? The Ankh must be built and designed in a very specific way. So I don't play with the Ankh, right? It's really powerful, right? I use a a tree leaf, I use a feather, I use a crystal, and I move that around. You move that around your forehead. This is too far away, right? Usually you go all around, right? You move the feather or the leaf, a tree leaf, simple tree leaf, around your head. You make one contact with the forehead and you bring it away further. You make a contact here, you touch it here, and then you bring it away, and then you bring it towards the head without making contact. You're only making contact with the forehead once. And then you bring it forward, down, left, right. If you do it right, you're going to have, as you're moving the leaf or the feather, you're going to have something moving and following exactly the direction and the movement of the leaf, right? So those are the things we're going to get into sometimes. Yeah, you know what? I think my followers deserve this, right? We're going to do that, like only sub live, right? And then I will basically go in depth with things like this, simple stuff that will truly awaken your soul and your spirit. I'm telling you, it's no joke. This is real, right? Because I have experienced it, right? And then your true self, right, is going to be awakened. It's like you're coming out of some sort of artificial dream or sleep, right? And you see things a little bit differently because it looks like you were sleeping, but you had your eyes open for years. Right? Yes, we need a live demonstration, bro. Oh man, M. Bravo, man. You gonna see my face. M. Bravo is like, come on, Potolo, show your face, man. M. Bravo. All right, man. All right. So, Grand Rising, Ramutef, man. Grand Rising. Now, so, yeah, simple stuff like that, guys. It's gonna be, it's gonna be really, really helpful if you know how to do that right. And for those who are in a relationship, if you know how to do that to your partner, man, just like they're doing that here, right? If you know how to do that, you know, with your partner, by learning to do it on your own self, then it will really be amazing, right? There is a very specific look and state of mind my wife, right? So basically, she will get into, I don't know how to explain that, right? The look in my face and the way, the expression, right? And then sometimes she will just like, man, no, this, I'm like, what? Right? So, yeah, man. So little things like that are helpful. I mean, trust me, man. Right? It awakens something in you, right? I have to find the right terms, but it definitely does something because I have experienced it, right? And not only me. I thought it was only me, and I explained to my wife, and I said, okay, let's do this, right? And then she was like, damn. I'm like, what? Like, it feel like something is moving left and right and is pulling, you know, and things like that, right? So, and I knew that, okay, this is not a joke, right? This is for real, right? So, but anyways, let's move on to the brain. Now, during the IFA session, BABALAWO and the patient permeates the cosmos, just like the brain waves in this document, right, are permeating the whole universe. This is one of the live, if those who were there remember, I think during this live on this topic here, I think we reached 500 to 600 people got stuck on this live, and I thought it was just the TikTok algorithm, but we ended up the live with more than 500 people were connected. They were hooked into it, right? And it was amazing. And I have posted a video, right? Maybe I need to repost that video because I think that video should be, you know, you see when you post too much videos, some of the great and very important material get embedded and people skip it because people always want to start from the top, right? That's why I don't post too many videos anymore. I used to post like, you know, 8, 9, 10 videos in a day, right? And I think it has to be done gradually. If you post too many, then yeah, some will end up, you know, being basically not watched, right? Now, let me grab these slides on the brain and I want to bring it into IFA, right? I want to bring it into IFA because it's going to be part of my presentation to the Babalawos who are going to be showing up next time when we will have this discussion we did on Twitter, right? It's coming to TikTok or maybe YouTube, but TikTok for sure. I don't know if Brother Akara has posted his TikTok page in the Telegram because I haven't checked yet. So we want him to post his TikTok page so we can all follow. We are almost 400 members in the group, so he should get 400 followers in the spot, right? He should get 400 followers in the spot and be able to go live, right? Because the brother, what he's doing, Akara Ogun, you know, brother, man, you are doing such an amazing job by organizing those sessions, right? And I'm really learning, and I have learned more information that I have added here, guys, right? I have learned more information that I have added over here, right? We're gonna clean this up, so don't worry. You know, I know it looks you know, this helps me with the train of thought over here, you know. So as I'm speaking, I like showing my screen, I like showing the details and explaining stuff, right? That's why you see a bunch of stuff in a slide, right? But we're gonna clean this up. And he hasn't posted yet. Thank you, She Matters. So, and we really want to put out a manual, guys. We want to put out a manual in which we're gonna have these things. We're gonna have, we want to show the younger one that when it comes to computer science, our ancestor knew it before, because we want to elevate the level of consciousness of the younger generation. Because just imagine if we today knew about these things sooner, right? It could have made a really higher impact, right? So we want to give the opportunity to the younger one to get the things we could not get. In that way, by doing so, we will end up winning, right? We will end up winning. We want to pass down these very important information, right? We want to write the manual in the way that, man, any young kid that is going to see and read this information is going to be like, damn, what? So every single computer electronic here is running the Odoo? Yes, it's running the Odoo. Every single computer has the hexadecimal. Yes, they took it from IFA, from your ancestor knowledge, right? They took it from there. We're also going to have to talk about the Bamana sand divination. The Bamana is also deep, because the Bamana shows a high level of manipulating what we call the multiplexer. Oh man, the multiplexer. Our ancestor manipulated what we call, for example, this is what you call the 4-bit register in the common bus, right? Now, our ancestors were doing it. They were multiplexing in the Bamana Sen divination, and we need to show it in that manual, right? So once those younger ones step in the classroom, they're going to step in the classroom with a higher consciousness, with a higher level of confidence, knowing that what I'm about to learn here in computer science, man, my ancestors have done it already, and it is coming from my ancestor. Just by having that in their mind and studying computer science, I'm telling you, they are going to excel to a level higher than never before, right? Yes, very high impact. That's what we want, and once we read the manual, we want to select few people who have never read the manual or who has not worked on the manual, right? And we want them to spend time reading. We can select 10 people or 5 people, right? Who did not come across this information. We want them to read for the first time. Who did not even know that we were putting this together, right? Because if they know it, then they may show some compassion. No, we don't want any compassion. We want folks, we can say, read this and give us your impression. Please just make sure you read it for real, right? Don't take it and pretend to have read it, because we're going to ask you a question. Yes, we're going to ask question. We want to make sure that they actually read it, right? And then we're going to measure. We want to use metric here. We want to measure how much, right, and how far they have gone, and how much of an impact it had on that person, right, before we even release it, right? Then we want to go back and make some adjustment and correction if needed. Now, the Bamana Sen divination shows a high level of multiplexer in computer science. We are showing that here, right? I am showing this here. This is the Bamana Sen divination. Now, in IFA, there is a version of multiplexing that, right, we landed on, right? We landed on it, right? I don't know if it's too far or close by, right? It's got to be somewhere down here. In IFA as well, there is multiplexing, right? And we are landing on stuff over here that you never seen before nowhere else, right? We are the first, basically, to bring this level and this amount of information, right? It's very unique over here, right? because we are using common sense, critical thinking, discernment by connecting the dot, right? We're making the connection easily, right? So let's go back to the brain here, right? So it's got to be somewhere. So let's go back to the brain. Let's go back up here to the brain waves permeating the whole universe. Now, during the IFA session, Babalawo, before the Odu are generated, there is a whole lot of action and things that are performed before the session even start. This is an example of an Odu, Okbemeji, right? This is an example. Now, we were talking earlier about the vibrating source, right? Because Babalawo, when he prints the Odu, we clearly see the sine wave being generated, right? And when we look at what we have learned so far on the Bakongo cosmogram, which is similar to the Ita Orun, you see here, this is a form of Isheshe. Isheshe, those who know the Yoruba Isheshe, is the four cardinal orientation, and at the center you have the Ita Orun. That Ita Orun is the Mfinda. And then we have what here? We have the Kalunga River. When we say Kalunga River, right, it is the invisible force that permeates everything in the universe and in the cosmos, right, in the form of ripples up and down, and it continues to propagate, right? It has ripples. You remember when you throw a piece of stone on a calm water, right? This is the ocean, right? It's not a good example, but if you throw, let's say this is a lake, right? You throw a piece of stone somewhere on the impact where the stone has entered the water, you're gonna have what? You're gonna have a depression and then a mound, right? You're gonna have tube, right? Depression and then mound. So you see the Sfinda here, right, is going to form that depression, and then water come back up to fill up the hole because the stone created a depression. But that depression is going to be filled up with water with a little bump, right? A little bump. Sometimes you will even see drops of water flying in the air, right? Depending on the level of impact. Now, from the point of impact, you're going to have circles or ripples propagating, right? You're going to have a bunch of circles, right? Multiple circles with different diameter growing out of the point of impact, right? Now, you do have the ripple. If you cut through this whole number of circles around the point of impact, you cut through, right, the diameter, right, and you look and you face that, you're going to have what? The up and down. You're going to see the up and down here. So this is an example of the propagating signal. When you see a signal propagating like this, right, I'm taking just an example to show how the Kalunga, right, basically continues to grow like ripples, right, forming on top of a calm water in which a piece of stone was thrown. This is just an example. Now, this here, we have been connecting this to the Ita Orun, the Isheshe, right? And at the center, we have the Mfinda. This is where nature spirit, according to the definition of the Mfinda, right? The Mfinda is associated with water. When we say water, right, can be the primordial water, not the same water that we know of, right? It's the primordial water. And this Mfinda here is the place where nature spirit lives. When I say lives, is there is a section or a place, right? Not really a physical place, but it's everywhere. But we symbolize that, right, at the center, because at the center you have the most concentrated energy at the center. When you look at a spider web, right? When you look at a spider web, for example, let's see, I should have the spider web, which is a great example that I like using, right? I like using the spider web, right? And let's see here, I should have one somewhere over here. Look at that. We're gonna bring the spider web back to over here. So, you see, at the center of the spider web, and we landed on the spider web learning about the Dogon, Mother Goddess Dada, weaving quantum particles to make matter. And at the very center of the spider web is what we call the Po. The Po at the center, if you continue to zoom in, right, there's a yeah, at the very center of the pole, right, the center of the pole is invisible, but this is the place where the most the most energy is concentrated at the center, which is invisible according to the Dogon. If you zoom in, you continue to zoom in at the center here, you're going to see a hole after a time, right? From distance it may look like, no, there's a hole. And according to the Dogon, the most energy, right, of this web is concentrated at the very center. They call it the Po. Now, the Po, according to the Dogon, is the image of the origin of matter. That definition is in line and fit with what we call, in the metaphysical concept of the Ori, is called the Iponri. You see, in Iponri, you have the Ipo and the Ri. Iponri, right? The Iponri is our mirror image that resides in Ita Orun. Our mirror image that resides in Ita Orun, the land or the realm of the ancestor, the Mfinda, which is in line with the definition of the Mfinda given to us, right, in the Congo over here. It's the same concept. It's the same. African spirituality, whether it is from West, East, South, East Africa, they do not contradict themselves. I've never seen that yet. Since we've been studying, right, ancestral knowledge, we have not seen any contradiction. Zero. Right? So they're all in line. Now, Babalawo, during the session, like we said, there is a vibrating source, because Babalawo prints test 1 result here, 2, 3, 4, all the way to test result number 8, generating what? 8 bits. What is 8 bits? 8 bit is what we call an octet or a byte. He forms an 8-bit number, which is basically an ASCII code. Babalawo generates ASCII number and ASCII code that would be interpreted in order to bring a solution to a problem. I have never seen any other form of spirituality outside of African spirituality that has this level of binary level, hexadecimal and octet bytes level. Christianity, are you kidding me? Islam, seriously? What else? The ancestor knew how to tap into what we call over here the vibrating source, right? The vibrating source right there, right, is has been summoned and is getting translated and interpreted in a form of a waveform. Babalawo is giving us a clue. And the ancestor knew exactly why they had to follow this pattern. Why they didn't say, do like, print the first test result here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or why not doing 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3 over here, right? 3 in the place of 4 and 4 over here. You see what I mean? Why specifically this way? There is a reason behind anything, right? There is a reason behind this. This is clearly showing us the wave signal, right? Coming from the vibrating source. Now, because the human brain permeates the whole universe, right? And every single human body possess what we call an aura, right? Or the human biofield, right? Around every single human being, we have these lines, right? They can be detected scientifically. We know this is a fact. If we, I mean, Babalawo and the African spiritualists, they know about this. But they've been talking about it, and people said it's people told them it was witchcraft, it was magic, and things like that, right? You see now why, when you see traditionalist or healer passing around a bag or a calabash filled up with pebbles, stone, cowries, they're running that around your head, right, into specific area of the body. They are basically correcting the lines. Because every single line over here is connected to specific organ, to specific area of your body. These lines are the reflection, right, of the magnetic field of your heart, your liver, your reproductive organ, right, basically radiates to form this human biofield. So for someone who has a liver or a heart problem, the line corresponding to the liver will be distorted. And the traditional healer, they know how to detect the problem, and they will bring a calabash with some stuff or some smoke, right? And they have their own way on how they learn it, on how to adjust specific lines without even giving you a medicine or plants, potion, things like that. Some will do treatment externally in order to treat an internal problem, right? So we see here that during the IFA session, we have the patient here. Before the session, there are things that are given to him to hold, to touch, and to put back on the mat. In some other form of AFA, you will see someone being given, a leaf or a tiku or a spice or a curry wrapped into a leaf, right? And he has to spend the night with it, right? Or put under the pillow, for example, right? Those are natural stuff. Someone may say, oh, it's witchcraft. No, it's not witchcraft, because scientifically it can be explained. We can explain that scientifically, right? Because the human body needs to be synchronized and harmonized, right, to the environment or to the cosmos. And during this session, the IFA priest has to respect the cardinal orientation. Very, very crucial, important. The orientation of the mat, of the session, and the direction. Things here are not done randomly. There are specific orientation here, right? So, and we have broken down, right, what we call the time. The time has a scroll. The time has a scroll. The past, the present, the future. You see that? So the future, meaning the event of tomorrow, right, are still wrapped here. They are getting close. The events that will happen next month, right, a little further back, right? The events that will happen in 2 years, in 5 years, they are embedded here. Babalawo knows how to tap into this realm here to extract information from the future and bring it back to the present, and then make suggestion to the patient to take specific action in order to avoid something from happening, in order to improve the person's life. IFA is a way of life. IFA is a way to forecast the future in order to allow the person to set up or to put in place countermeasures in order to improve the quality and the way of life. Who will not know, right? Who will not basically be interested into knowing the negative events that could possibly happen to you if, for example, you did not follow specific instructions. It can be a car accident, it can be a disease, it can be this or that, right? Who will not know, right? For example, that well, you're on your way, you're gonna make a trip, right? But you have to delay the trip by 1 day, right, in order to save your life. Because that trip, if you get in that bus or in that train, right, something is supposed to be happening, right, with that bus on that specific day, right? Or a disease, right? You should not eat certain things, because if you eat it, then you will get sick, and by getting sick is going to affect your productivity at work or something. So IFA is capable of tapping into the future and bringing a set of advice and recommendation in order for the person to have a better situation, a better way of life. It's all about continuously improving someone's quality of life. You see? Yeah, I'm the Bravo. Or wouldn't it be benefit for a country to know they are about to be attacked in 6 months, years? Yes. Oh yeah. Now, if I told you Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they went back to ancestral way of doing things, bro. They sat down with traditional, right, priest, and they had a recommendation. They have done their own way of divination, and they got the solution of what they needed to do in order to get the country in a better position. They consulted. Oh yeah. And I'm telling you that from very good source. Very, very good source, right? They have done that. And the ancestors spoken to them with a set of things that they had to do in order to be in the situation they have today. That would be awesome, right? And then that would basically, you see, I mean, the whole, you know, how they have set up specific things around the world to know any potential attempt of attacks or terrorism, things like that. They want to know before it happens, right? By using computer science, basically, right? They're using a set of algorithm in order to say there is an imminent attack in the next year, right? Or a bomb threat, right? Things like that. So yeah, but we knew how to do it by tapping into nature, right? Versus artificial intelligence, right? So now, the future, the present, the past. Babalawo is also capable of tapping into the past in order to extract information of who was responsible for stealing, for unaliving someone, for doing something. Babalawo can consult, right? Someone, you know, can consult Ifa to have some answer on what went wrong, on what happened, right? So these people now, they took this away from African, because we rely on this at a certain point in time. And I'm sure 100% Ifa would tell our leader, if they really follow this, right, that you need to kick out the Westerner out of your country because they are causing too much problem. They are stealing your resources and your money. So you need to get them out, right? So just imagine the colonizer. That's why they started with Christianity. Christianity was the main tool that basically allow the colonizer to penetrate, because the more and more people were getting converted, right, the more docile docile they became, right? And when people were busy going to church and pray, Muzungu was digging the land, extracting the minerals and the resources. And they would be reading verses saying, oh, do not worry about the things of this earth, right? Better things will be given to you in the afterlife, right? Don't worry, right? I think there's a verse that says that it's easier for a poor person to enter heaven than a rich man to enter the hole of a needle. You guys know that verse better than me, right? Something like that. You see what kind of verse and phrases they are bringing into the Bible in order to basically tell the black man and the black woman, don't worry about the things. If you suffer, it's okay. You're just suffering here, right? You're gonna have, you're gonna have better things in the afterlife. No. We want to live better now, because this realm is made to enjoy life, right? It's not made to suffer, right? It's not made to suffer, right? But those mechanisms and systems are making us suffer, basically. Now, let's go back in. So, we have time as a scroll, right? And we now have the brain permeating the whole universe, right? So we want to touch a little bit here on the brain, right? So we're going to be doing some reading, right? So let's break it down. These whole waves are not only restricted to the brain, but that they easily diffuse out and form an interconnected wave network with our universe. This notion is accepted by some neuroscientists and physicists, which is associated with consciousness or string theory. Damn, the doggone already knew about the string theory. According to Lade Scranton, proof that our ancestor in African spirituality, we know about the string theory. And the string theory is also used in IFA. Yes, because we know this in IFA or in African spirituality. So what we call quantum physics or quantum mechanics is an artificial way of practicing African spirituality. You can say that quantum physics or quantum mechanics is the artificial African spirituality. That's exactly what it is, right? Now, let me read from the top over here, right? This part here is very important to understand what is taking place during the IFA session with BABALAWO, right? So let's do this. Let me zoom in here. And my source over here is a peer review, right? Peer review source. Look at that, right? PMC. This is a good reference here, right? Our universe. Let me use the marker here. Let me insert that and that, and let's give it some weight, and we can do green. Our universe and brain obviously require energy. Energy is described in many ways, and am I missing something here? Oh yeah, let me move this out of the way. Energy is described in many ways and comprises chemical, metabolic, radiation, and many other types. In physics, energy has been noted as having one peculiar feature. Ups and downs. Yo, ups and downs. BABALAWO is clearly translating, right? In the process of printing the Odu, BABALAWO is using the ups, the down, up, down, up, down, up. This is a form of energy. This is energy here, or signal, or frequency, right? The waveform, which is a sine wave, right? Where was I? Oh, sorry, my bad. I went all the way. I lost my slide, my apology. Let's get back on it. Okay, it should be here. Oh, my bad, sorry guys. Okay, my bad, right? So we clearly have the ups and down over there, right? This is how energy is detected, right? In physics, energy has been noted as having one peculiar feature. That peculiar feature is the ups and downs, right? We see clearly that we have identified that in the process of BABALAWO to print the Odu, right? In the process of generating the Odu, we clearly see the ups and the down. When you write to the left, to the right, from the right to the left, back to the right, to the left, and so on. Those are ups and downs. This wavy form of energy, this wavy form of energy is thought of covering our entire universe. Hey. Damn. Guys, you see why when we did this live here, we were solid 600, closing to 700, because it was too deep, right? Because this section here basically brings, right, and sheds some light into everything we've been talking about so far. This wavy form of energy is thought of as covering our entire universe, including our body and brain. Wow. Including our body and brain. Including our body and brain. So there is a wavy form of energy that goes with the ups, downs, ups, downs, that is permeating the whole spider web, cosmic spider web, mesh-like. This idea came about after realizing that an atom or light can exist in two forms, both as a particle and has a wave. An atom can exist in two forms, has a particle and has a wave. One example of this, right, is the photon, which is the solar radiation carrier, right? The sun electromagnetic radiation carrier, right, behaves, has a particle and has a wave. This is duality. So the atom also follow this model, has particles and has a wave. You remember Mother Goddess Dada, according to the Dogon, who weaves quantum particles into matter. What is the weaving process? The wave. What is the form of the energy BABALAWO is writing down when printing the Odu? A waveform. A waveform right there. The weaving, this is also what? This signal here, shape here, is also the weaving process, right? It's also the weaving process, right? It's also the weaving of quantum particles into matter. And again, we studied this weaving. You see that? The weaving pattern in this here. You see the waveform. You see the particles. Invisible particle becomes physical particle, giving you a loaf, right? Now, I don't want to get too deep. Now, let's stay here on point, right? Now, this is known as the duality of an atom or light. The photon is light. The photon possesses, right, that duality. Therefore, we can also view all things in our universe as waves. Damn. The human body can be seen as a wave. Anything in nature can be seen as a wave, as a signal plugged into this cosmic mesh network, right? Now, in IFA, duality is key when you speak of the set single stroke, double stroke in IFA. Single stroke, double stroke in IFA form a dualistic system. And anything that's dual in nature will follow the principle of single stroke, double stroke. For example, we have duality between wave and particles. You can say that the particles is the double stroke, the wave is the single stroke. And then you have a dual system. And you can use this principle of particle wave in order to codify anything in nature, because anything in nature will be seen as a wave. So anything in nature can be codified or represented in terms of single stroke and double stroke, because anything in nature is a wave. Now, this is very important here, right? In order to improve the quality of the information that I've been putting, right? Somewhere in a different slide, I'm landing on something major over here, guys. So you will my apology, because I need to grab this, right? I need to grab something over here that is going to be super major into explaining something that I previously, right, put together. Now, let me grab, I need to grab something here, guys. My apology, right? Let me just grab this real quick. Now, yeah, I think I just need to grab this whole section here. right? I just need to grab this whole section here. Is very, very, very important. And then I probably need to yeah, I need to do some highlight here. So let me grab this, and I will give you a sneak peek on what it is, guys. This is super major, right? If you are learning IFA, the principle, the duality is very, very important, very key. In IFA, nothing exists by itself. Everything always go in pair, right? Everything goes always in pair, and IFA does not live in an empty house. That's why the concept of zero really do not make sense. The zero concept that we have in science. Now, energy is the up and down. We know this. And this wavy form of energy is thought of covering our entire universe. Damn. This wavy form of energy right there, right, is thought of covering our entire universe, including our body and brain. This idea came about after realizing that an atom or light can exist in two forms. Damn, I need the red one here or the blue one, right? This idea came about after realizing that an atom or light can exist in two forms. These two forms here are going to form a dual system, a dual set, right? Similar to the single stroke and double stroke, which form a duality, right? The binary, the single stroke and the double stroke, right? Plus, minus, man, woman, yin, yang, right? So here we have particles and wave, right? Particle and wave, right there. Particle and wave. This is known as the duality of an atom of light, right? Duality of an atom of light, because everything in nature is made of atom, right? A piece of loaf, a piece of wood, right, is basically million or billion of atoms that have clustered together to manifest into something visible. If you break down that piece of wood into tiny bits of particles to the size of the atom, that piece of wood becomes invisible, right? Therefore, we can also view all things, right? We can also view all things in our universe as a wave. In such a way, our brain can be viewed at the deepest level as either an ensemble of particles or wavy brain. Damn! Oh. What is the brain? The brain is the Ori. And the Ori, according to the Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori is the seat of consciousness. The Ori is our connection to the source. Damn. In such a way, our brain, right, can be viewed, the brain can be viewed at the deepest level as either an ensemble of particles or a wavy brain. Guys, do you really think this is African spirituality right here? This is what we know in the concept of the Ori, right? But you see this in scientific, so-called Western scientific paper. Look at that. This is what we know in the Ori. And we've been learning about the Ori. So why are they going to say that the Isheshe or Yoruba or African spirituality is witchcraft, it's magic, and then it should go away? But we are finding concept that we learn in the Ori right here. When they're speaking about the brain, right? Your whole body can be reduced and represented by the brain, by the Ori, because within the Ori you have the seat, right, of your connection to the one consciousness, the whole universe, the whole creation, the source. Your connection to that source is done through the Ori. Hence, a picture of the wavy brain should at least have two components of waves: electromagnetic brain waves and waves arising from all particles. Oh, let me just copy this one, right? And then I am at slide 9, so I need to come back to slide 9 and let me go to a section here where I'm laying the explanation of the duality in Ifa, right? How do we start from a single stroke, double stroke? I have a slide over here dedicated for that, right? So let me do control find, and I think is the set single stroke, double stroke. Okay, or let me do next, next, next. Okay, let me do damn, let me paste that somewhere. Should be somewhere over here. Let me start real quick, like, guys. This is very important for me, guys. So my apology. I have to put it in that right spot, so I will not forget, and then we can come back to it. What is this? Yeah. So my apology. The pair. Yeah, this is one of them. I think it should be maybe somewhere here. And then let me go up. My apology. Let me see here. I know exactly where it is at. Oh, there you go. Now I need to put that here. Okay, awesome. So basically, in this slide, this is where, you know, I'm trying basically to explain, because everything in Ifa is represented in terms of single stroke, double stroke, anything. If you look at the 256 Odu, you see right? A group of single stroke, double stroke, right? Matter, spirit gives life, right? And then here I'm gonna have particles and wave form a duality. Wave is the single stroke or the supreme, and particle, right? The atom, something physical, a tree, a person, an animal has particles. When we look at something physical, we think of particles. We're going to give it a double stroke for the particle and the single stroke for the invisible, right? Which is the wave. The wave is invisible, right? So basically, I'm going to use scientific terms, scientific way, or other means or other way of explaining why we have the double stroke and the single stroke everywhere to codify or to represent something, right? So this is major, super major, guys, right? This is super major. And then we're gonna get to these slides. I don't think yeah. Now let's go back on track. Let's get back on track. Now this is too deep, y'all, right? Where is my okay, marker? Right there. Now, in such a way, our brain can be viewed at the deepest level as either an ensemble of particles or a wavy brain. Hence, a picture of the wavy brain, my bad. A picture of the wavy brain should at least have two components of waves: electromagnetic brain waves and waves arising from all particles. The anatomical chemical component of our mass itself is an energy. Many think that these whole waves are not only restricted to the brain, but that they easily diffuse out and form an interconnected wave network with our universe. This notion is accepted by some neuroscientists and physicists, which is associated with consciousness. Consciousness is hosted in the human body, in the ori. Now, we are seeing here that these whole waves, brain waves, are not only restricted to the brain, but that they are easily diffused out, and form an interconnected wave network with our universe. So you see, the patient standing next to BABALAWO, right, is connected to IFA. There is a line or invisible line that connects to IFA through a spider mesh like network, right? Because we are permeating and connected to the source. Yes, that's how we have the wire. Because someone is going to say, oh, you summon IFA and all those things, but where is the connection? Now we have scientific explanation of where is the invisible connection over here. Bam! You see how in African spirituality we know this, but we did not just explain that in these Western scientific terms, but we know that over here, right? And our elder been trying to explain this, and they were told that they were practicing witchcraft. And today we see what we call quantum physics and quantum mechanics confirming what our ancestor already knew. Damn, guys, this is deep. Now, this is the type of information you need on a Monday morning, right, to open up the week. Right? So let's bring in again, we are going to show that the Dogon, they knew what they were talking about, right? I'm going to put this side by side and I'm going to read this, right? I'm going to read the blue part again, right? Now, these whole waves are not only restricted to the brain, but that they easily diffuse out and form an interconnected wave network with our universe. You can see, right, the intersection here, right, has a brain, another brain, a 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 brain. You have billion or million of brain wired to the source. So when Babalawo, during the session, when we are told that Babalawo summon Ifa or Mila and Eshu to the session, it's basically entering in the connection with those nature spirit, those forces, because his brain are wired and form, right, to the spider, the cosmic spider network, mesh network, right? And then if someone has doubt, we got scientific data here, right, to provide. We got scientific data to provide and explain what is going on over here. And this is what I've been trying to explain so hardly for many months, right? And then something came in my mind, and I was like, we spoke about the brain network, so maybe we should bring the scientific information data over here to clear things up, right? Because sometimes people are confused. They're like, what's going on over there? Well, if you know about this, then you will connect and understand easily and better what is going on over here, right? They are wired, they are connected, right, to an invisible spider mesh network, right? Has a system of a spider wave, a wavy spider mesh network, right? These lines, right, are wave energy connecting and reporting to the center, to the Po, to the Ita Orun, to the Mfinda. Bam! Wire to it. So the solution to a problem that has been presented, right, by knocking at the door. When I say knocking at the door, people are like, how? Now, during the session, Babalawo used what we call the Iroke. The Iroke is a wooden or ivory, right, piece, right, a stick that is being tapped on the divination tray, because they have to ask for permission. They have to summon, right? The same way when you go visit someone, when you get to the person's house, are you going to be standing and just imagine that person that you are at the door? No, you have to knock at the door. You have to knock at the door. And then someone will listen to the noise and come towards the door and ask, who is this? Or look through the window and see, oh yeah, I was waiting for you. Or if I was not waiting for you, I'm going to say, how can I help you? Or call the police, like in the West, right? If you showing up uninvited to someone's house, they will call 911 on you. And I don't blame them for that, because the level of insecurity is too much. But back home in Africa, we don't need to make any planning or arrangement before visiting an auntie or an uncle. We just show up, right? We don't have the system of you have to make arrangement before you show up. No, whenever you want to go, you just go, and when you get there, you knock at the door. Same process here. There is no specific arrangement, right, prior that needs to be done here. The Ifa priest has a set of instruction, chant, incantation, rituals that needs to be performed in order, right, to set the stage for knocking at the door. When everything is set up, then Babalawo knocks at the door by tapping on the divination tray, right? Now, we have seen and shown this, and we got scientific data right there to back up what is going on here. The human brain, the whole waves, and the human body, right, can be converted into waves, right? Basically, a human body is a wave, right? Anything in nature is wave. So the whole universe can be seen as an intertwined cosmic mesh web of waves, right? These whole waves are not only restricted to the brain, but that they easily diffuse out. So his brain diffuse out your brain, my brain diffuse out, right? And form an intertwined spider mesh network of interconnected wave network with our universe. Bam! This notion is accepted by some neuroscientists in physicists, which is associated with consciousness or string theory. Guys, you remember when we were reading the Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori? We need to bring that here, guys. We need to bring the Ori here, right? Because we got this, right? This is basically talking about the Ori. And we've been told that, oh, our spirituality was witchcraft and magic. But they have, the Ori actually explain this better than what we have here. The Ori, right? It's been a long time we haven't read that Ori part, man. Right? We were reading it every single day, almost. So this is, let's go here. That Ori should be not too far from here. Right, that Ori, right, where's the Ori? Ori, where you at? I should be, let me see. The Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori, deep stuff. And we have to finish reading that section because we stuck on just the first paragraph of that article. All right, written by a brother, right? I think I seen it here, right? So let's grab that here and let's bring it over here. Right, so, and then let's put it here, right there. Look at that, guys. We've been reading a scientific paper. Just a second. Right? So let's look at that. The Yoruba metaphysical concept of Ori by Awo Fadegbe Fatumbi. What a beautiful name. Now, we read this. This is from science, right? Western science. This is African science. And this is why we need to keep on learning about our own way of doing science. So I'm going to read this. And we read about what they said here about consciousness. You see how quantum physics is catching up with African spirituality. Let's go. In Yoruba theology, no. It's in Yoruba science. Perhaps nothing is more complex than the metaphysical concept of Ori, variously associated with the physical head. Where is the brain in the human body? Where is the brain located at in the human body? Bam, the physical head, the cranium. Tell me about any spirituality out here, right, that is basically associated with the physical head. Christianity? Islam? No. The head of a Christian or a Muslim is in the Bible and the Quran. Their brain has been replaced with the Bible and the Quran, right? They no longer have a physical head. So the Ori is variously associated with the physical head, the cranium, your personal Orisa. Consciousness, associated with consciousness. I have the impression that someone who know about the Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori may have written this in the scientific paper over here. Look at that. The Ori variously associated with the physical head, the cranium, personal Orisa, consciousness, destiny. So during the session, Ifa, right, the Babalawo and our ancestor knew that our destiny is associated with the physical head, which is the seat of consciousness. So they could know and predict the future, or the destiny of a person could have been known through interrogating, right, nature spirits. Because the whole waves, right, diffuse out, the brain waves diffuse out and form an interconnected wave network with the universe. So the future is wired to the present brain. The present brain is wired to the past events. They are all in the same intertwined spider mesh network connection right there. They're all connected. The present, the future, the past, destiny, human soul, and my favorite is the ancestral guardian. Every single human being has within the ancestral guardian, and that ancestral guardian is sitting on a throne in the back of your brain. So let me just show that, right? So people know exactly what I'm talking about. And Christianity, they call it the cherub or the cherubim, right? We broke this thing down for months, right? So in the back of your brain, you have your inner self, right? You have your inner self sitting in the back of the brain. Your connection to the ancestral realm, your connection to the source, your true self, right there, sitting in the back of the brain. So the hands, the head, the eyes, whatever you have has phenotype outside of you, right, are being managed and controlled by your true inner self, your ancestral guardian, right there. This is your connection to the source. This is where sits the thalamus, the seat of consciousness, right? And we have identified specific orishas, right, connected to the different orientation, the 4 cardinal orientation, that would be synchronized. Because remember, during the IFA session, right, the Babalawo needs to make sure that, right, the session is locked in or synchronized with the 4 cardinal orientation. Very important, right? Very important. The Ori can be considered as the Yoruba theory of consciousness, or as the Yoruba theory of destiny, or both. In my conception, our Ori is our soul. So we will say that our Ori is our connection, right? Right? It's our connection to the source, right? So our soul, right, is connected and wired to this internal ancestral guardian over here. Because someone asked me the question once, can you trap a soul? If the soul sits in the human brain, if you put that brain in a box, are you going to trap that soul? No. The soul is untouchable, is undetectable. It cannot be trapped, right? Because people sometimes think that. No, it cannot be trapped. It's something beyond science. Even science today do not understand where actually how the soul manifests. We know we have it, but there's no way to detect it. Not yet, right? The same way we know there's air. We don't see the air. We breathe it. We need it to survive, but we know the air is there, but we cannot prove. We cannot see it, right? We cannot see the air, but we know it is there. We cannot see the soul, but we know it is there, right? Now, our Ori is our soul, which contains consciousness, knowledge, wisdom, thought, and emotion, as well as our predetermined destiny, and is our connection to Source. Our Ori, or our brain, is our connection to Source, as well as all things containing consciousness. Oh shit, look at that. The whole waves are not only restricted to the brain, but that they easily diffuse out and form an interconnected wave network with our universe. This notion is accepted by some neuroscientists and physicists, which is associated with consciousness, or the string theory. Our ancestor mastered and knew the string theory. They're using big words, but when you get to the etymology of the word, you come back to consciousness, you come back to the spider mesh network or string. You see, a spider network, right? A spider mesh is made of what? String, right? You see, the string, what they call string theory, was known by our ancestor. You see? Within the mystery of the Ori, yes, your brain has a mystery. Within the mystery of the brain is another mystery called the Ori Inu, our inner self. Our Ori Inu, our inner self. The divine spark. A third component of the Ori complex is the Iponri, our higher self. It is our mirror image that resides in Orun, the invisible realm of the immortals. So, we have all the ingredients here that shows that BABALAWO is connecting to the realm of the immortals. It's connected to the Orun in order to bring the solution to a specific problem, because our brain permeates the whole universe, right? And is intertwined with the scroll of time, the future, the present, the past, right there, right? So now let me look at the comment, right? I'm not really good. Let me look. Moderator, okay. I'm looking if there's any question. We are supposed to have gotten to 100k likes. Oh no, it's all good. Oxygen. TikTok does that, right? TikTok does that. We already been flagged, you know. We know this. Guys, it's very important that you set up notification, right? She matters. We need to start making sure that the people set up notification, because when I go live, my followers do not see that I'm live, right? So TikTok has reduced our visibility. So you have to be in the Telegram group. Did I even post it live in the Telegram group? You need to set up notification on your phone, right? You click that button, so you will be notified, because if you don't do that, when I go live, you will not see me live. Yeah, so a lot of people have reported that. So they're doing this for a reason, that they know, right? But we need to move on, and then we're dropping videos, and some of this information are going to be in the manual, right? We have to put this level of explanation in the manual by bringing scientific data, right? We're going to bring these, we're going to quote scientific data, and we're going to bring our Ori, our concept Ori, and then we're going to see that our ancestor knew about the string theory way before science, right? Western concepts were discovered, such as quantum physics and quantum mechanics are recent compared to African spirituality, right? You see how this is deep? Now, let's move on quickly. Since the brain is also encompassed by the oneness of consciousness, guys, they're talking about IFA. This is IFA. But IFA, in a Western paradigm, they westernized our spirituality. Since the brain is also encompassed by the oneness of consciousness, which is Olodumare, infinite wavy energy, infinite wavy energy, one may presume that the brain features infinite waves. The brain features infinite waves. It is delocalized and in diffusion with external cosmos wave. Damn! Oh, man. I'm telling you, this is African spirituality, bro, that these folks, they use. I don't know. And we are reading this from a scientific paper viewpoint, right? So we are going to use this information and we're going to quote it. We're going to quote this. And we're going to bring to the side what our ancestors been doing, been saying for thousands of years. Maybe it will make an impact on our brothers and sisters who have been so indoctrinated to the level where, right, they're going to call this, oh, this is science. And then we're going to show them the Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori. They're going to say, oh, no, man, this is witchcraft, man. Right? We're going to show them this. They're going to say, this is witchcraft. But this is talking about that. More deeper than this, right? See how we've been indoctrinated to the point where we are being talking down on the work of the ancestor. Let's move on. It is delocalized and in diffusion with external cosmos wave. And did you know melanin feeds on cosmic waves? We learned that because all of this is going to connect deep into melanin. Melanin feeds and ingests the cosmic waves. Damn, right? It all makes sense scientifically. We are showing. We are not just assuming and talking, but we are showing, right? In fact, it can be viewed as one medium of oneness, one field, wholeness, or one consciousness. Damn. Oh. This indirectly compels us to realize that the brain, in fact, has quantum and multi-dimensional light features, non-local, quantum wave function, diffused, low-dimensional, tunneling, superposition. In other words, one may view these quantum light waves of the brain, meaning energy of brain anatomy viewed on the smaller scale, as brain background waves interconnecting and permeating the whole universe. Hidden underneath another wavy brain network, meaning electrical or electromagnetic brain waves, functional brain energy, This is too deep there, man. So we don't even have the impression that we're reading a Western scientific paper. It sounds like we are reading about African spirituality, but with scientific terms. These are the things that we knew before, we heard before from the elders, from those who've been initiated into African spirituality, right? But we are seeing the same thing over here through scientific terms. We are going to be quoting information like this because this is going to bring credibility to what we're talking about, because we're going to use scientific data to back up what we've been saying in African spirituality. We don't have a choice, right? We need to be credible. So we have to be quoting this because this is done through experiment as per se, right? Through detection using equipment. But our ancestor did not need to have all of those equipment to know this. So we still have to reconnect to our ancestral way of doing science, right? While using this, we've been educated into these paradigms. So we have to relate to it in order to bring our ancestral paradigm in the picture, right? In order to make things clear and more convincing, we have to add scientific data. But this is deep. Quantum light waves of the brain. Where does that come from? The brain has quantum and multidimensional light feature. You see, your brain has light feature, y'all. Your brain has a light bulb feature. In the back of the brain, there is what we call the cerebellum. The cerebellum looks like a leafy green. It wakes up, right? It expands, it contracts. It also emits light. The neuromelanin in your brain spark every time information is passed down from one neuromelanin to another. There's a spark of light. So the brain can be seen and, right, has light feature. The brain has light feature. That's why they're saying that the brain has light feature. Yes, when neuromelanin, right, exchange information, yes, there are sparks, right? There are sparks. I have another illustration somewhere over here showing the neuron. Hold on. Right? We've been breaking down these slides, man. We're coming back to this, right? When we were studying the Ori, right? We're coming back to that, no doubt, right? Let me show the neuron. I should have the neuron somewhere down here. Let me bring the neuron. Let me bring the neuron. Brain cell, the universe. So when you put side by side a picture of the brain cell and a picture of the universe, you almost cannot make a difference. You think, right, you are in the same, right, the same environment or the same realm. Brain cell, universe, right? Neuromelanin, neurons, that carries electricity, that spark, right? So the whole brain can be seen as having light feature, quantum light. Yes, quantum lights. You see that? Quantum lights. Bye, Shawnee. Bye. Bye. Alright, that's my daughter. They're heading to school. 6:54. They start at 7:20. Okay, Shawnee, I'm on the phone. Bye. All right. Right. So so this is why, right here, the brain has what light quantum feature, right? Quantum and multidimensional light feature, right? In other words, one may view these quantum light waves of the brain as brain background waves interconnecting and permeating the whole universe. Damn, hidden underneath another wavy brain network, right? Meaning electrical brain waves. Electrical brain waves. Neuromelanin conduct electricity, sparking, generating light, right? And the brain can be seen as having quantum light waves feature permeating the universe, and in other words called as brain background waves. Background waves, brain background waves interconnecting and permeating the whole universe. So again, Babalawo know what he's doing right there. They may not be able to explain in scientific terms what is going on over there, but scientifically we are finding answer to the questions of what is taking place here and how we are explaining the how scientifically using the quality and the features of our brain being or having the feature of what we call quantum light waves that interconnecting in the cosmic waves. So Babalawo will extract the information based on a specific problem from the universe, from the source, because the brain, right, is the seat of consciousness and is our connection to the source. So this brain is wired to the source. Being wired to the source is being wired to the one consciousness. The one consciousness knows about the future, the present, and the past. Oh yeah. Through what we call the time scroll. The time scroll, unfolding and folding the time. When an event happened today, tomorrow the event that happened yesterday goes in the past. It gets folded. And the event that will that happens today unfolded from tomorrow. The event that happens now is unfolding, is the unfolding of the future, the unfolding of yesterday events, right? Because yesterday events, we were not in this position of doing this live at this specific time, right? Yesterday, right, we were preparing to go live. So as we are going live and talking about this, we are unfolding, right, what was folded yesterday. Yesterday, this event that we're having now, this session, was folded, right? Now it's getting unfolded and being showing in the present section. This is the present, this is the past, this is the future, right? So Babalawo knows how to tap into the future, the present, and the past in order to bring the Odu. The Odu will manifest in the form of 8 bits number, an octet, a binary number, binary code, which computer science call the ASCII table. The ASCII table is nothing other than our ancestor Odu, right? The communication language of nature spirit, right? Right? Now, going down to here. Man, this is deep. Now, this is the ice on the cake for this slide. The brain has 2 type of energy. And did you know I made my coffee and I did not even had a chance yet to drink it. Let me take a sip of this coffee, man. Okay. Now, the brain has 2 type of energy. A, anatomical energy, quantum view. Anatomy or mass is also considered as energy. B, physiological energy. Yes, the brain, right, has 2 type of energy, anatomical and physiological energy, right? The physiological energy is the electromagnetic brain waves. It's subtle. The physiological energy is subtle energy. You cannot touch it, you cannot grasp it, right? It manifests into what we call electromagnetic brain waves. The quantum anatomical energy is hidden and has not yet been detected. Oh, the quantum anatomical energy is hidden and has not yet been detected. BABALAWO knows how to tap into the quantum anatomical energy, which, according to Western science, is hidden, and they have not found a way to detect it yet. What is the anatomical energy? It's the quantum view. The quantum view, right? The quantum view, the atomic and subatomic level view of the brain related to the anatomy or mass, which is also seen as a form of energy. It has not been, right, detected yet, and is still being hidden, right? That's why I've been saying that the soul, right, cannot be detected, cannot be grasped, cannot be trapped. It's a whole totally form of energy, undetectable by Western science, right? Now, this is deep, y'all. This is deep. Now, this is an example of the spiral, the vibrating, right? This is showing the 7 first vibrational level of the weaving process, and also of the egg, right? This is what you see at the center of our universe, right? The spiral, right? In our solar system, in our galaxy, we have those spirals, right? And those spirals translate all the way to the shell, to the flower, to the animals, to the skin, to the hair, to the back of the head, right? In the form of what we call fractals, right? These fractals and these shapes permeating our brain is wired into these fractals. Do you think it was a coincidence? Our ancestor knew exactly the hairstyle and the hair pattern of our sister, right? Their hairstyle follows specific pattern called fractals, right? Interconnected to the universe, to the cosmos. Those shapes wired and mingle with specific energy in the cosmos, right? You know, and I have asked, you know, to a few sisters, right? And it looks like the different hairstyle brings different feeling to the head, right? That's what they told me. You know, today she will have the twist and some specific shape. Next month she will change it and have a different pattern and different shape. It brings some type of different, if I can say, different feeling or energy, right, on the head itself, right? The head feels differently depending on the type of the pattern, right? So now everything in the universe is wired and interconnected, right? So even the sun, for example, this is the earth, this is the sun, they all mingle through what we call electromagnetic radiation. It's the true interaction between the heavenly bodies. It's not what they call gravity, right? When you get into into relativity, into the theory of relativity, right, then gravity is no longer valid. And we're going to break this down a little deeper. But the key thing here is to understand that the electromagnetic radiation is causing the interaction, right, between heavenly bodies and not the gravity. Gravity is basically the electromagnetic radiation. Once they reach, right, resonance, they mingle. The electromagnetic radiation of the sun meets and collide with the electromagnetic radiation of the earth, and they reach some type of harmony, right? The harmony and the balance keeps it at a very specific orbit, right? And every single of these heavenly body is wired to the source, including humans, right? We are forming all together an intertwined spider network, right, of quantum wavy energy, right? Now, man, this section on the brain is too deep, too damn deep. So I'm not going to read the whole text over here, but just the part in blue, right? This gives rise to yet another important question. If so, why can the mind see matter, light, object, and so on, but not waves? Indeed, waves and energy are subtle or abstract to the brain, in that they cannot be seen by the normal brain. The reason for this might be related to the wave vortex, the limited frequency for seeing, hearing, touching, and so on, or the limitation of our human consciousness, meaning having limited consciousness. And what we've been doing and trying to do in our life is to elevate our level of consciousness through what we call, in the Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori, is called the Iponri, your higher self. Because yes, our brain is limited. The same way your capacity of seeing, of hearing, of touching are limited, right? And consciousness can also be limited. And one factor that considerably limit your human consciousness is indoctrination. By reconnecting to the way or to the ancestor, right, you are elevating your level of consciousness. So when we speak about reconnecting with the ancestor, is not just to wait or ask for what you need to do. You already know what you need to do when you go visit someone, a family member. When you get there, what do? You knock at the door, right? You knock at the door. Because if you don't knock at the door, your ancestors are not going to bother you. They are not going to connect with you, right? You have to speak, even if you think you are speaking to no one. Right? Some people are saying, why am I going to speak to myself? No. Right? The genetics of your ancestor are within you. And we are all wired to an intertwined, interconnected spider net network. So technically, we are still wired to our ancestor. It is up for us to reactivate that, right? That line or those line of connection with the ancestor. We are wired, right? But you can activate those connection with your ancestral realm or not, right? But you have to initiate it. If you don't initiate the connection, then there will be no connection, right? Because the brain waves or the waves are not only restricted to the brain, but that they easily diffuse out and form an interconnected wave network with our universe. So technically, every single human being is still wired and connected to the universe, which contain the ancestral lineage, the ancestral thought, the ancestor, wherever they are, whatever form they are today, we still interconnected. Right? Now, and then for the source of the paper, right? It's right there. Quantum and electromagnetic field in our universe and brain. A new perspective to comprehend brain function. Very powerful article. Scientific article. But we had the impression we were reading some type of spirituality. Right? Now, last one. This idea may explain why atoms or light exist in our physical universe, can exist either in particle, matter, is illusion. Okay, someone can get confused when seeing that matter is illusion. We have been explaining this here, right? So let me just finish read this and we're coming back to it. This idea may explain why atoms or light existing in our physical universe can exist either in particles, matter is illusion, or waveform. Atoms of light in our physical universe exist in a dual form, either particles or wave. And the particle and the wave are two elements, very crucial element into the weaving process, the weaving process of Dada, weaving quantum invisible particles into matter. What is matter? It is a cluster of many multiple invisible quantum particles form matter. What is the weaving? The weaving is the wave, the zigzag, the up and down. The up and down of what BABALAWO is generating here. This is what comes out of the pattern, right? The order of printing, the Odu, the binary, single stroke or double stroke is forming a zigzag and up and down a weaving. Babalawo is weaving the Odu. Oh shit. Babalawo is weaving the Odu. That Odu has been extracted from the cosmic spider mesh network in which every single brain permeates the universe. Now, your problem, your sorrow, your happiness, your thoughts, your consciousness are all intertwined and can be converted into a wave. And all of those waves are interconnected to a spider mesh network of wavy, infinite things. So the future and the present and the past are all mingled and intertwined into the spider mesh. So Babalawo knows exactly how to tap into it. You see that? All right. The scroll of time, right? I need a section of this spider web to come here in the scroll of time. This is important, right? The future, the present, the past all mingle into the scroll of time, right? The scroll of time is plugged into the cosmic waves, right? So if I do this, hold on, transparency, right? Transparency, and then we plug the time scroll into this whole thing here, right? You see that? Future, present, and past are plugged into the whole universe. Every single human brain is permeating the whole universe. Your consciousness is part of the universe. So your destiny is part of the universe. You see how the Yoruba metaphysical concept of the Ori actually bring us more substance and more element into the cosmic waves. Destiny. Babalawo is going to tap into your destiny because it's part and it's permeating the whole universe in order to extract information. From where? From the future and bringing it into the present. Right? Man, this is deep. Now, just a second. Right? Now, so guys, we are making very nice, good progress, right? And I think we have to make good use of our time. Over the weekend, I was browsing over some other lives, and for the past 3 years, I still see the same people I used to debate with. They are still talking about the same thing, the same damn thing. Maybe until they get old, when they get grandpa or grandma, they're going to be talking about Africa, Africa, all about Africa. But let's not get trapped and stuck into it, because I think I once got slowed down and trapped into it. Guys, I start going live and presenting this after I stopped spending too much time in those live. And you see the amount of information I could have possibly missed if I did not elevate my level of consciousness and be like, what am I doing? Today, the same topic, we come back the next day, yelling, screaming, insulting, talking down on the ancestor in Africa. The next day, back at it again, and there was no growth, no consciousness elevation. Those folks are still talking about the same thing. It's all about Africa is not this, Africa is not that. But I promise you guys, we're gonna soon start a series of live on black people being the first in all continents. That's a fact. But 21st century black American or black Caribbean are not from that old stock of the first black people who were in the America, right? And I'm going to bring proof of what I'm saying, right? So I'm not going to pick and choose sides because people want me to pick and choose sides because they know I have good information, but they want me to lean towards one side. No, there's no picking and choosing. Yes, I can prove that black people were the first in all continents, but 21st century African American and Caribbean, right? I'm going to use science to prove that, right? They are descendant of our ancestor who was stolen from the continent, right? Why is it important? Because I think I just have a feeling, guys. I know some people will be like, Potolo, don't go there. Potolo, don't do this. Don't go there, right? But I think there are, even if it is only one or two person, right? There are people who need to hear the truth, right? And maybe by doing that, it will bring some people to be interested to hear what we have to say or what we're doing, right? And if I showed up onto those live and I start talking about IFA, right, people may not be interested into it. So something has to trigger them to pay attention, because we are all one consciousness. We are all connected to this spider mesh network of intertwined brain waves energy, quantum light brain waves, right? We are all wired to the one consciousness that has made us, right? That has created, that is the source. We are wired to it. Someone may say, okay, why is that source has allowed us for being treated the way we've been treated? That's a very good, valid question, and we are going to answer those questions. We have to face the questions, right? We should not just be running away from the questions. I don't run away from the questions. Those are some of the questions that pops up in my mind, right? We're talking here about the source, the primordial source, the primordial energy, and someone is going to ask one day, with all of everything we're breaking down over here, how did that happen? How did it let it happen? Right? So we have to understand what is the primordial source. Number one, what is it? Right? It's not only about, we broke down the principle of good and evil over here, right? When we speak of good and evil, balance is needed. You cannot erase evil. You cannot erase good, but the two must mingle and reach a state of balance, right? It has to be balanced out. One cannot exist without the other. That's impossible. In order for summertime to come, winter has to be gone. In order for winter to come, summer has to go away, right? Same thing with fall and spring. For something to fall, right, it has to be coming from the upside position or upper position to fall. You have to have a depression. For something to spring, it has to come, right, from the root, from the soil, and spring up, just like a seed that is being planted onto the soil is going to spring, right? It's going to sprout, right? So good and evil cannot be dissociated. We just have to understand that we need to continue to elevate our level of consciousness, because there is something that needs to be discovered. There's something that needs to be learned. There are lessons that needs to be known, right, in this growing process. There's something to discover about ourselves. There's something to know about ourselves, right? Our true self, our inner self, the Ori Inu. And we're trying to attain our higher self, which is the Iponri, right? So We want to be the best version of ourselves in this realm, right? While waiting to transition. But who wants to be wasting time here? Right? Just like killing times and not wanting to learn and not wanting to make good use of his time. Life is made to enjoy, right? But there is such a great feeling when you understand something by your own capacity and not just believing, because believe means to accept something without the need of any proof. Belief means you don't need any proof, any explanation. You just chose to believe. We should avoid believing because there is a confusion between believing and knowing. We should be seeking knowledge. We should be seeking to know. And if we are not able to know yet, we have to be patient in the process, because we want to go too fast. We want to skip levels, right? It is a process. It is a step by step. It requires patience. You may not understand something now, but in the next 2 weeks, you will get it if you spend time brainstorming about it, reading about it, right? Studying about it, and listening, right, to different inputs and feedback on something specifically, right? And in our life, right, we don't need to have any background in computer science or mathematics or physics. All is required is you must carry your brain. You must have your brain with you, right in where it belongs, when coming to our life, right? It is mandatory. It's mandatory to carry your brain with you. Don't leave your brain in the book, in the Bible, or somewhere else. We want to give the best of what our brain is capable of doing, because our brain is the seat of consciousness. We should not be playing with our brain. It's our connection to the source. Can you imagine? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we conscious enough to connect to that source, right? I think we are playing too much with our brain, right? So we need to continue to elevate, right, by focusing on the things that are important. People spend times and hours in lives, and at the end of the life, what have you learned? Nothing. Did you learn for a source? Did someone quoted or provided a source? Nothing. And then tomorrow they're back at it again. And back at it again is a waste of time. It's not being productive. We have to be productive, y'all, right? We have to be productive, because as a community, by being productive, our community is going to be productive, right? So, man, and also during the Twitter session on Friday, right, I learned so much, guys, right? And I'm going to break this thing down again, right? I keep saying that we're going to go step by step. We have already presented, right, this one, right? This version here is the raw version, and this is the cleaned up version, and we are going to continue to improve this. We're going to make it better, right? But this is already good. It's presentable, right? This is presentable, right? And this is a flow chart, right, of how the Odu are generated. Look at that. This is what is called in computer science an IPO, input processing output, right there in IFA, in our spirituality, y'all. Look at that. Can you do the same with religion, with the Bible? You gotta be kidding me. The Bible or the Quran? Oh man, no way. Oh, look at that. Our ancestors were purely scientific, because you cannot practice spirituality without doing science, because through science, not artificial science, true science is the study of nature. It's the study of the environment. When you study nature and you study the environment, you are connecting more and more to the origin, to the source, to the creator. When you are practicing, you're studying science, you are connecting, you are getting to know what the creation is, what the creator is, right? So, yeah. So, thank you guys, Oh man, it's about time, 7:30. I gotta get ready. I gotta get ready, and so thank you, y'all. And what else we got? I'm looking at the comment if someone made a request. Oh, yesterday live, right? Someone requested that yesterday live be posted. I'm gonna download it and post it on the YouTube because I cannot upload the whole live session in the Telegram. So don't forget. Thank you, She Matters. Don't forget to to follow us on the Telegram. The link is in the profile of my TikTok page, and it is also in She Matters bio, right, for the Telegram group. And then yeah, so let's keep on doing what we're doing, guys. We are on point, man. You see this is never seen before. I've never seen this before in IFA or in any book, right? The Babalawo, they know all of this, but we have the tools and the ability to translate this into scientific terms and be able to explain, right, where is the vibrating origin, right? Babalawo clearly is drawing a sine wave, and there is a vibrating source. And today, through the study and the reading of the brain waves that permeates the whole cosmos, right, we have explained the origin of the vibrating source. So Babalawo is replicating that wave in the divination tray, and this is what, right, the name or of this wave is a specific Odu. The name, this specific wave, translate into an octet, an 8-bit binary number. Oh man, this is too deep, right? In Modbus communication, did you know? Modbus communication that is using our 256 Odu, the 16 primordial sign, the 16 hexadecimal number. Look at the wave of the Modbus signal. A bunch of zeros and one. Look at that. Up and down, up and down. It resembles what? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got ours. This is the Modbus. So if the Odu are extracted, right, from IFA in terms of binary bit, we should be able to have a waveform. We have identified the waveform right there. The same way they have a waveform in Modbus, because Modbus has copied our 256 Odu. They called it, they renamed it ASCII code, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. But we are saying that, right, we need to claim back the ownership of the 256 Odu, which technically are, right, the IFA standard code for nature spirit information interchange, right? And we have the brother Haley who posted a couple of suggestions here, right, how we should change ASCII into our own acronym. I loved it, right? Yep. Man, thank you guys. It is amazing. I'm loving the direction things are going, man. You don't just know. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel good. When we're focusing on ancestral knowledge, breaking these things down, and having the gratitude and the wisdom, of the ancestor guiding our way, our path, our thought. Being wired to the source, man. Things are coming to be. Right, we understand better. You see, if you notice, since we've been elevating our level of consciousness, right, together, right, through these life, right, you're gonna see that you understand better, you see things clearer and better, right? So we need to continue doing that, right? We just have to continue doing that. So thank you everyone. Thank you so much, and I wish you a good start of your week. A wonderful rest of your day, and stay out of prayer. You know what I learned yesterday in a sister live? You should not be praying. Pray, P-R-E-Y. You see how religion used the word pray? to enslave our ancestor by saying that close your eyes and let's pray. Oh shit. They were praying on our ancestor. Yes, pray. P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y. Praying. Manhunt. They were hunting on our ancestor, right? So, thank you, y'all. And then, yeah. So, if possible, I will come back live at noon. You know, if not, you know, it's going to be tomorrow morning. So, thank you, y'all.